Everyone has an opinion when it comes to the NFL draft, and we want to know what people from around the league thought about each team's draft picks. So we asked executives and evaluators from around the league. Right now we're looking at the NFC West, and the Arizona Cardinals are first up. Nolan, it was a bit of a surprise that they didn't address the offensive line, which was a need for theirs, until day 3. They waited through the first 3 rounds. What was the reaction to the Cardinals not going offensive line early?
Well, everyone around the league that I talked to thought the offensive line was so bad that they had to go that way in the first round. They didn't, and I think it worked out for them. They got Bobby Massie in the 4th round. He could be a starting right tackle down the road. It slipped because of some mental concerns, but he has upside to grow into a role. Senio Kelemeti from Washington, I think, could be a starting guard, and even Nate Potter in the 7th round has developmental swing potential. So they wound up addressing the need in rounds 4 through 7.
It's not something they've traditionally drafted early on since Levi Brown, really, which hasn't worked out particularly well for the Cardinals. In St. Louis, it's hard to come away with a total loss in the draft when you have two future first-round picks they got in their trade, but they took a lot of risk with all the rest of the picks they had. What was the reaction that teams had to the Rams draft?
Well, it wasn't only 2 future first-round picks, it was a number of picks. They landed 6 players in the first 3 rounds that I think could walk in and potentially contribute. Brian Quick has some mental concerns. Janoris Jenkins was littered with flags that everybody knew about. Isaiah Pede had some character concerns off of the field. Even Tremaine Johnson and Chris Givens, the 4th round pick for that matter. So there were a number of concerns with this group. It's probably a bigger boomer bust group than we've ever seen, but with all the needs they had, it made sense to take some chances.
So people view that pretty highly of the Rams draft, that why not go for it?
In their situation, given how far they have to climb, they're at the bottom of the barrel looking up, and they got to overcome San Francisco and overtake Seattle. So, they had to find talent in there. You have to hope that Jeff Fisher can do what he can with it.
I guess you start with the talent and see if you can coach it up. In San Francisco, the Niners were criticized for using 2 picks on players who really had character concerns. What did other teams think about the risk the Niners took?
The teams that I talked to that really met with these kids and looked at their histories thought they were immature early in their lives, but really became better citizens, more mature through the years. There weren't a lot of concerns about the makeup and the character of A.J. Jenkins or Michael James. So I think they could turn out to be solid players in San Francisco.
A lot of talent there. They're really building the offensive side of the ball after they were so good on defense last year. Seattle made one of the biggest surprise picks of the draft when they took Bruce Irvin in the middle of the first round. Was he going to go around there anyways? I mean, what did other teams think of Irvin? Just how high was he going to go if the Seahawks didn't take him?
There was word about San Francisco going and working the kid out privately before the draft. I think that word got back to the Seattle Seahawks, who are looking at the Niners at the top of the division and maybe tried to steal some of their thunder, land that pass rusher that really made the difference for the 49ers this year, like Aldon Smith did. So it was a little bit of a surprise to most observers, but Irvin has top 15 rush potential, and I think that they would have to take him somewhere in the first round when other teams like Houston and San Francisco looking at the back of the round.
So other teams maybe weren't as surprised as the public was?
Oh, not at all. I think he was regarded as a first-round type of pass rusher. He's just not a complete player that can play every down.
If he gives them an Aldon Smith-like year, the way that he did for the Niners last year, I think the Seattle Seahawks will be really happy and won't mind all the criticism they've taken from around the league. That's the Draft Confidential on the NFC West. You can check out one on every division at ProFootballWeekly.com.